Yeah, we look nice, future looking nice, we don't need to tell them twice.
Here comes the future.
Yeah, we look nice, future looking real nice, we don't need to tell them twice.
Here comes the future.
A sun-baked Wanderers football park is ready for a vital game between Western Sydney Wanderers and the Wellington Phoenix in the Liberty A-League. Wanderers may sit 9th at the moment, but a winning streak could lead them right back into a battle for the top 4. Wellington, their priority is avoiding the wooden spoon this season, and they have never lost to Western Sydney. So if there's one opponent they could handpick today, it may well be the team in red and black. As we see the little corner of yellow, the Wellington fans that were such great supporters of the team when they played at their home away from home in Wollongong last year, they've made their way in to Wanderers Football Park to take on a Western Sydney team that are about to make their way out of the tunnel very shortly. As we see some of the bench players, including a former Wanderer, Izzy Gomez, making their way out onto the pitch. Let's take a look at Western Sydney's team. Just one change to the starting 11. Sheridan Gallagher is in and an ill Serena Bolden drops out of the matchday squad. There's been mass upheaval to the benches. Amy Chisari, Sienna Saveska, Ella Abdul-Massi and Holly Caspers are all preferred to Angelique Christodoulou and Mel Caceres, who also drops out of the matchday squad. Wellington have a suspended Kate Taylor to replace. Claudia Chico comes in to the starting 11 to do so. Emma Ralston, however, is back from suspension, and after 2 games out, she takes her place among the substitutes. And as we wait for the players, the crowd is starting to build up at Wanderers Football Park in Blacktown in Sydney's west. You can see plenty of yellow and black, but you can expect Wanderers to have the measure of the home fans here. And out onto the pitch come the players as well, both wearing their home kits today. When they met back on New Year's Day, it was a 1-1 draw at the Cake Tin in Wellington. And that was with Wanderers grabbing an equaliser after Michaela Robertson had opened the scoring for Wellington. Sheridan Gallagher scored her first A-League women's goal that day to earn the teams a share of the points. And so as the teams walk out onto the pitch as part of the round of Liberty A-League and Isuzu Ute A-League men's, there will be a moment's silence for the victims of the earthquake in Turkey and Syria. And the players will be lining up to pay their respects along with the crowd before the match kicks off today.
With more than 20,000 losing their lives. The football community of Australia stands together with the communities affected, and as a mark of respect, we ask that you all stand for a moment of silence.
And so with the minute's silence observed, handshakes will now take place pre-kickoff here. The officiating crew today, Beck Mackey's the referee, assistants Anastasia Philikaridis and also Claire Green. And speaking of Claire's, there's Claire Hunt. This will be her last game before linking up with the Matildas at the Cup of Nations. She'll be hoping for a first cap, but before that, she has to captain the Western Sydney Wanderers today. And in the team huddle will be one Sydney-sider for the Wellington Phoenix, Claudia Chico, wearing the number 17 from RPL Leichhardt in the New South Wales NPL, but today will be the 8th appearance of the season for the 18-year-old who's made the trip across the ditch in order to get a start on her A-League women's career. Looks like Brianna Edwards, the goalkeeper, is taking the team huddle here for Wellington. One last powwow before they go out and try to win for just the second time this season. 5 competition points has them at the foot of the table. Newcastle, who play later today against Perth in second last, are on 10. So they do have a bit of making up to do if they want to avoid winning the wooden spoon for the second season in a row. Western Sydney Wanderers, of course, they have ambitions of climbing the table, but they start today on just 11 points. But if they can get a run going, you never know what's possible. Kat Smith was on Dub Zone yesterday talking about how she's used 23 players this season, but has now got a lot closer to what she believes to be a strongest 11. And that's perhaps reflected by stability in selection in recent times. And so Beck Mackey will get this one started with the Wellington Phoenix attacking the left of your screens in the first half. Nat Lawrence will have happy memories of the last trip to Wanderers Football Park. Of course, Wellington won 3-2 when they came here last season. The only other 2 times these teams have met have been draws. So Wanderers are still yet to beat the Knicks. Will today be the day for them? Wellington, perhaps they will fancy their chances here against a Wanderers team that they had plenty of opportunities to beat back when they met on New Year's Day over in Wellington. And as we kick this one off, young Matilda's coach Leah Blaney joins me in commentary. And Leah, for Wanderers, this one's a bit of a non-negotiable. If they're going to mount any sort of a challenge for the top 4, they need to start with a win today.
It absolutely is. Western Sydney Wanderers, they've professed that there's going to be an improvement, and we don't want to see them finish the season at the bottom of the ladder.
So an early goal kick and a chance for everyone to get a feel of the pitch and conditions. Edwards takes a short goal kick out. Marissa Vandermeer plays the ball over to Michaela Foster. Some energetic pressing from Western Sydney, almost one possession back, but it's cleared to Ava Pritchard, and now through comes one of the New Zealanders that's playing for Western Sydney today, Malia Steinmetz. Unmissable, a new peroxide rinse going through the hair. And here's Claire Hunt playing to her new centre-back partner, Gemma Ferris. Just the 3rd appearance of the season, Leah, and Gemma Ferris was in your young Matildas team that you named during the week.
She certainly is, and she's been a seamless addition to this Western Sydney Wanderers back line in recent weeks.
Liv Price getting a bit of a run down the left going, crosses into the box for Gallagher, who scored last time these teams met, and the ball is cleared away, only as far as Claire Hunt. Amy Harrison claiming handball against Betsy Hassett. Hunt slides a pass out to Bethany Gordon. And now Alexia Apostolakis. Gordon. And the ball is cleared away from the centre of defence by Marissa Vandermeer. Gordon. Oh, late contact there from Gordon. The referee lets it stand. The Wellington Phoenix through Millie Clegg. Finds another challenge. The physicality is being let go in the first couple of minutes. Perhaps setting the tone for the day. Sophie Harding now. Liv Price with an early ball. And Leah, it looks as though Beck Mackey, as the referees, just put the whistle away for the first couple of minutes here.
Yes, and it's what we expected out of today's match. 2 sides that press with a lot of intensity, and there's a lot on the line for today's game.
And again, a foot left in there by Hassett. Amy Harrison can't believe that there was no foul. And the Wellington Phoenix will come away with the ball. Hunt goes back to Jordan Bloomer, the American goalkeeper. And now Ferris as the Phoenix stand off and watch Western Sydney possess the ball among their back 4. Trying to advance it now through Apostolakis. It's pulled up all right after being subbed off in the game away to Melbourne Victory last week with what looked like a knock, but thankfully not an injury that's kept her out of the team today.
And it'll be interesting to see today how Wellington set up, given that we know Western Sydney look to overload the midfield with their formation, with an additional number in there with a 4-4-2 diamond.
Here's Gallagher rolling away from the marking of Foster. Slides the ball through for Harding. The goalkeeper came out, but the flag is up, and Sophie Harding is no stranger to running offside, Leah, so that's something that the Wanderers, and particularly the player playing the pass and the responsibility of the runner there, have to just coordinate through the course of the game.
Yes, at times can be a curse of an explosive player, so the timing of Harding's run here, she needs to look across the line and just wait to the very last second until that pass is released, because we know she's quick.
Interestingly, Harding mentioned on a podcast during the week that she has an English and an Irish passport, but had never been contacted by the Irish national team. Of course, we know that there is one Irish player, Sarah Rowe, currently in the league at Melbourne Victory, who's dreaming of the World Cup, but I think Sophie Harding is just a dinky-die Aussie, Leah, so maybe no tug of war for the national team services with Ireland getting interested there?
Between England and Ireland, yeah, I'm not sure.
Here's Harding now, trying to show us what she can do. Plays it into Gallagher, and the ball down at the byline. Challenge coming in from Chico, and she'll have a bit of a fan club here today. They tend to follow her around at State League games for Apia Leichhardt, where she's one of the junior coaches. And right now has her hands full with defending down at right back. Steinmetz hitting a diagonal ball. Gallagher able to protect it initially, but no teammates at the drop. Mackenzie Barry clears only as far as Danica Matos. And now Chloe Knott gets her first touch of the game. Wanderers just starting to get on top after 5 minutes. Price. It's been prominent down this left flank already. Matos. Not enough elevation on the cross. Chico's able to clear. And now Ferris doubling back. Harrison. The ball from deep, hoping for the run of Harding. Barry leans into the ball, got no power on the header. Harding ignored the option in Gallagher, is going to shoot instead and wins the corner with a deflection from Vandermeer. But I can't help but think that they had a 2-on-1 isolated there at the top of the box.
They definitely did, and that's a little bit of decision-making for Harding. I think just if she drops her shoulder there and pretends to go towards her right side and can slip Gallagher in, that's probably a better option for her.
Still, the first shot in anger ends in a corner kick. Western Sydney do have quite a tall team. Plenty of targets to aim for. Hunt, Gallagher, Harding, all above average height players. They're going to play a short corner here. Harrison whips it in. And it did find the head of Claire Hunt, but she can't turn it goalwards. And Hunt, playing game number 33 in the A-League Women's today, still yet to find the back of the net. Might take inspiration from one of her former Canberra teammates, Taryn King, who scored her first A-League Women's goal during the week in, I think, game number 54. So when you're a centre-back and you're expected to go up and contest for the ball at attacking set pieces, you want to score one eventually.
You definitely do, and if Claire Hunt can add that weapon to her locker, what a centre-back we will have on our hands.
Harrison has to chase here. Wisniewski first to the ball for the Phoenix, but not to any great effect as Wanderers consolidate possession. Ferris looks up and just sees Ava Pritchard prowling around. Pritchard, who scored here at Wanderers Football Park in that 3-2 win back in March. It was a real end-to-end classic, that game as well. Wanderers scored first only to end up on the losing team. Here's Ferris now. Hitting the ball out into space, asking Danica Matos to go and chase. Claudia Chico comes across. Matos kept the ball, and then couldn't find a teammate with the pass. Knott looks up at Harrison, and Harrison willed herself onto it. Hassett's contesting, but Harrison commanding the ball. Now Gallagher. Great physicality from Gallagher, but stuck in a 2-on-1, and Michaela Foster stops any sense of danger. See there, though, some 50-50s were there to be won, and it was Amy Harrison who willed herself onto the ball. Harrison again. A 1-2 with Price at the edge of the box, and then a pass to no one in particular. Hunt, a tumbling pass over towards Danica Matos, who's going to get a chance to play the ball here. Price, around Wisniewski, now Bethany Gordon. Block tackle made, and then cleared away by Foster. Hassett. Foster with the crossfield pass out into open space. Chico's going to get there before the line and now has a chance to go forward really for the first time today. A low pass, the edge of the box. It's dealt with by Claire Hunt. Now the Phoenix have advanced plenty of players up the pitch and Clegg's press works. Hassett, still Betsy Hassett, blocked immediately by Hunt. Knott drops the ball back to Chico. This is the Phoenix's best spell in possession of the day now. Vandermeer. Michaela Foster changes foot and plays the pass, but it's been anticipated there by Steinmetz. Harding knocked off the ball. Hassett. Out into the channels for Clegg to go and chase. And Clegg, well, maybe didn't pick the right moment when to veer in onto the ball. Was running parallel to it, but never actually came in to take possession.
And it's a shame that Clegg was a little bit casual in the last moments of that acceleration that was needed, because it's a very well-weighted pass by Hassett and a clever ball that splits a fullback and a centre-back.
Still only 17, Millie Clegg, playing for the 9th time in the A-League Women's today, but already has 2 goals this season. Wanderers with more than 70% possession at the 10-minute mark of the game, but that last passage of play, Leah, showed us what Wellington are capable of when they spend some time on the ball.
Absolutely perfect in terms of what Wellington are going to want to do this game to expose this Western Sydney Wanderers backline. Little final passes that split centre-backs and full-backs using the pace of Satchel and Clegg is the key.
Well, risky pass there from Edwards. Gave Vandermeer a task. Was able to step around Gallagher. Wisniewski hasn't spent a great deal of time on the ball for the Phoenix just yet in that central midfield position. And now Vandermeer mishits the pass. Wanderers press working. Harrison to Bethany Gordon. Gordon waits for the run of Apostolakis through the right. Wheels around onto a first-time ball. And it's over the head of all in the penalty area. Price went to ground with a cry of anguish, but not able to convince the referee. Amy Harrison is really becoming preoccupied with Beck Mackey in this game. Seems to want to argue a lot of the non-calls out there, but I guess 10 minutes is enough of this game to have set the tone as to what we're going to get this afternoon.
I think so, and so far I think we've seen a lot of transitional moments quite frequent, so I would like to see both sides just have a little bit more composure when they are in possession. Wanderers going into this game, we know they're going to probably dominate more possession than Wellington. It's going to be that they are effective with it.
Harding sweeps the ball over to Apostolakis. Thought about dropping the shoulder, but Clegg was not falling for anything. Steinmetz. Gordon. Harrison in a bit of space. Gallagher. Foster came in and knocked the ball away. Counter-attack could be on here for the Phoenix if they're sharp enough, but Hassett was sold into a bit of trouble by Pritchard's pass. Hassett turned into the challenge of Steinmetz, who won the ball away. Harding, a little bit casual in attempting to win the ball, and through came Vandermeer. Foster, caught in possession. Bethany Gordon wins it away. Foster, oh, it's a good challenge not to give away a foul, and then Gordon goes and gives away a foul of her own. She's right up the top of the league, Bethany Gordon, for both fouls won and fouls conceded. So she's a really combative player that's never far away from a 50-50 ball.
She is. She goes into every tackle with her sleeves rolled up, and she's quite competitive.
We talked about Paige Satchel before for the Wellington Phoenix. I think we've barely called her name in the game so far. They haven't really used that right flank to any great effect so far. They want to hug the left here, and the pass misses Foster.
They haven't, and as I've touched on, I think the Wellington Phoenix flanks are going to be the key for success for them today. We know that they've got pace, and then we also know with how Western Sydney Wanderers set up that they can be caught out in that middle third in those wide areas.
Ferris out to the left and finds Matos. Talk us through what leads to that decision there. It was a pass to just absolutely no one. Is it a hit and hope, or is it the perceived pressure that leads to that ball just being hit down the line?
There's a few things that go into it. It can be perceived pressure. It can be players just not being on the same page.
Wanderers looking a bit smoother now, though. Price stepped around the challenge, finds Harrison. Harrison didn't want to pull the trigger on a shot. And then Price follows up by going over the bar. I'm surprised that Liv Price there decided not to shoot from the top of the area and tried to thread through Harrison instead.
And I think Price definitely needs to be a little bit more selfish in that moment. In saying that, that's a very, very clever ball. This Wellington side, if you allow them to get back and get organised defensively, then it's going to be difficult to break them down.
And the tackle there from Chico inside the penalty area, Leah. Bit of a lunge, but got the ball before any of Amy Harrison.
Yeah, definitely got the ball, but she's going to have to be mindful with challenges against somebody like Amy, who is very street smart.
And so the Wanderers, with one of their more promising attacking looks of the game, not executed. Long ball across the pitch from Vandermeer is going to skim off the head of Matos and still has plenty of momentum on it to run out for a Wellington throw. So they get a chance to move into the attacking half.
And that's just a moment where Wanderers can be exploited. If Satchel actually stays high and wide there, then Chico is an outlet for this Wellington side in that wide area.
Looking at the Opta stats, 15 minutes in, Leah, Paige Satchel has yet to touch the ball. According to our numbers, that's the first one there. They've got her into the game, but it's very short-lived.
And that potentially could be tactical by the Wellington Phoenix, that they want to exploit this right-hand side by Western Sydney.
Apostolakis. Harrison. To the one-on-one between Harding and Foster. Foster got a boot in. Not. And now Mackenzie Barry. Chico's ball over the top, overhit, and Jordan Bloomer, who has been a bit of a spectator to the game so far, is able to come up and collect. On loan from Racing Louisville, the 25-year-old goalkeeper.
And I think you touched on the dub zone yesterday, Teo. Goalkeepers from the NWSL who are the second or third string, getting game time in this league is enormous for these clubs.
Well, certainly not the only player in that category this season, Jordan Bloomer. We've seen Hensley Handcuff at the Brisbane Roar, playing professionally for the first time. Hilary Beale at Western United as well. It's one of a number of American keepers that have come out to the league this season. Steinmetz legging Pritchard, who was just clever enough to sell the contact and win a foul for the Phoenix. Steinmetz part of the New Zealand senior national team. So we see another look at the foul picture in picture.
Definitely a foul, but I doubt there's too much malice in it, given they go into camp together tomorrow.
International break coming up, of course. This is a very interesting approach to the game. It's almost like Amy Harrison is a personal lobbyist for Western Sydney to the referee. I know that in baseball they say you argue for the next decision rather than the one that's just happened. So is this Amy Harrison trying to get in Beck Mackey's ear and just slowly but surely influence her through the course of the game?
Look, Amy's an experienced player who's also got a very good football brain, so I would dare say some of the questioning and what she's asking would have some substance to it.
And then from the referee's point of view, at what point do you just say, enough, stop talking to me, you know, play the game?
Depending on your patience, I'm probably shutting it down pretty quick, but Beck Mackey seems to have a little bit more.
Let's see how that continues to shake out. We're almost a quarter of the way through the day's action. It's been pretty much non-stop from the first minute. Here's Gallagher. That pass into the path of Hassett, but Gallagher doesn't want to lose out. Back in challenging. Hassett prevails. Slides the pass underneath. Ferris. It looks to be a grab of the shirt, now a grab of the arm. And eventually Pritchard just doing a bit too much. But these players from Wellington will know Gemma Ferris very well, won't they, Leah?
They will. She was a train-on with the club last season. She spent a lot of time in Wollongong with these girls, and she actually does a really good job of keeping her body between Pritchard and the ball there in that moment.
So will be absolutely no stranger to the opponent today. Chico in on Gallagher, who holds her off and then plays the ball to Gordon. Tough pass to control, but Gordon sees the ball break out into space. Now Clegg. May not have seen Gordon, but still has enough power on the pass to win a throw. No shots on target yet. We're almost at the 20-minute mark of the game.
And I was kind of hoping for today's match that we would have seen more shots on target, given that we know that both sides at the moment in the league sit towards the lower half of the ladder in chances created. A little bit more excitement.
And that's been reflected in the goals scored for Wanderers. 9 goals so far this season. It's only 2 better than Adelaide, who are having a horror year with only 7 scored. Wellington, 11 to their name, but it's worth remembering that most of them have come recently. 5 against Canberra, 3 against the Brisbane Roar. They were a very goal-shy team prior to that breakthrough 5-0 win against Canberra as well. Price. And now the Wanderers have Gallagher in space at the top of the box, but offside, and that perhaps is the reason why.
And it's a really nice passage of play. We know Olivia Price is a clever player who can pick apart defences with her passing. So she finds Harding well there. Gallagher again just has to look across the line, and she's in excellent position to finish.
So is that Gallagher's decision to run, or is it Harding's decision to play the pass, seeing a player who, even to the naked eye, looked pretty clearly offside?
I think Gallagher goes a little bit too early, the timing of her run there.
So a couple of offsides already have foiled the Wanderers.
Yeah, just halfway for me.
Long throw, perhaps catching a bit of the wind. You can hear it swirling around. Hunt, long ball. Gallagher. Given the space to wheel around and play out into open field for Matos. See Paige Satchel now tracking back with the Wellington team. Steinmetz back out into the gap. Matos is there. Early ball. It falls for Price. Left-footed swing. Did not make the best contact, and the referee's whistle eventually puts an end to the passage of play.
And again, it's a nice build-up by Western Sydney Wanderers there. You see the strengths of Gallagher. She's a player that can hold up the ball and bring others in. So the ability to switch the ball to Matos there is excellent, and it's just his final execution for Western Sydney.
Why was play blown dead? Is there a handball there by Price? I didn't see a foul. That's a tough one to work out.
It is, and Beck Mackey's obviously seen something I can't see either.
Chico's pass, Satchel not able to make any ground. Ferris. Another long ball from Hunt over the top, just bypassing the midfield at the moment. Harding's headed down, not. Plays it to Foster. You had the whack of the ball against Alexia Apostolakis, but she couldn't bring it under her control. And now Clegg, who is a speedster, is going to try and get away. Apostolakis backtracking and doing very well, the youngster. But they all gave up on the ball. Clegg got there, and Jordan Bloomer had to come in, and, well, the job wasn't done.
It's initially a fantastic recovery by Apostolakis in that moment. A little bit of miscommunication potentially between herself and Claire Hunt, and maybe even Bloomer on that occasion.
Well, heads-up goalkeeping there from Bloomer to come out and make sure that the defenders standing off the ball there didn't turn into a more meaningful attack.
And it's probably worth touching on the determination of Millie Clegg in that moment as an attacking player to continue her run. And we know that this player is hungry in the box and she wants to score goals.
Being told that the wind is gusting up to 41 kilometres an hour today at Wanderers Football Park, and the flags and the plants are reflecting that. You know that it's really windy when the players' shirts and hair also start to bluster. So watch for that too. Here comes the corner. Foster drops it right on the head of the goalkeeper, and Jordan Bloomer, definitely not the tallest goalkeeper, but was sure-handed there grabbing the ball.
Yeah, she's done well to come off a line and get over the top of both her defenders and the oncoming attackers in that moment. And you've touched on the wind, Teo. The need to keep the ball on the deck and look to play through will be important for the side that doesn't have the wind with them this half.
Apostolakis caught in possession, and now Hassett can turn. Pritchard has space. Still Ava Pritchard is going to shoot from distance. Claire Hunt, an involuntary header, but an effective one. Now Clegg hits the byline, flashing through the penalty area with a defensive header from Hunt to get it out of the box. Satchel trying to make a mark on this game, Paige Satchel, but Danica Matos has her covered.
And I really do think Wellington's best chances of scoring today will be when this Western Sydney side aren't defensively sound. So it'll be transition moments. It'll be when they get caught out with some concentration lapses. Historically, Western Sydney sides, whether it's this A-League season or last year, are defensively well set up.
Deflected cross. Gallagher lifts the ball. The wind causes it to drop almost straight down, but Harding did well enough to win a foul. Looks like we're going to get the first drinks break, one of two that we'll have in this game. Leah, how do you assess the first 25 minutes so far?
I think I've touched on it. I think it's quite transitional. I would like to see a little bit of more composure in possession by both sides. In terms of Western Sydney Wanderers in the front third, we've seen some clever little round the corner balls, some good combination play. It's just that final pass to create goal-scoring chances.
So let's take a look at what's been created so far in the game. This was the decision here from Harding to turn and shoot, when perhaps Sheridan Gallagher might have been on through the left side of the box. Then the short corner that led to Claire Hunt's header wide of the target. We also had this opportunity where Liv Price, and you used the word unselfish there, Leah, you would have preferred her shoot for goal.
Absolutely. We know that she has those striking ranges in her locker as well. She scored some absolute bangers, whether it be a half volley or well-struck balls from outside of the 18-yard box throughout the season and in last year's NPL, so she's highly capable.
And as things are still quite blustery here at Wanderers Football Park, Leah, as far as, you know, a strategy for how to make the wind less relevant to the game, what would you be saying to your team at a break like this?
I'd be asking him to keep the ball on the deck, to play people's feet, or if it is a ball into space. Again, just driving things along the ground and eliminating that wind factor.
29 degrees at Wanderers Football Park in Blacktown at the moment. Players return back out to the pitch. In this situation, as the referee, you've got to remember where the ball was when you put it into play. And we're back live again. Ferris playing the ball to Claire Hunt. Matos to Harding. Harding turns inside, scoops across to the edge of the box. Wisniewski, not the most convincing clearance. Down at the byline. Wanderers hoping for a corner, and they've got one. Grace Wisniewski hasn't put her foot on the ball too much in this game, Lee. Running around in that defensive midfield role, you spend a lot of time guarding space. She'd love to be playing more passes.
She definitely would be, and we know that she's a quality player given that she's been named actually to go into the New Zealand training camp this week with the senior team. They are overloaded in midfield though, this Wellington side, given that there's 4 Western Sydney Wanderers in there versus their 3, so she's got to do a lot of work defensively.
They headed to the near post, and it's turned behind for another corner. Claudia Chico guarding Sophie Harding there. Near post seems to be the order of the day with these Wanderers corners. Brianna Edwards still in the #1 gloves at the moment, with Lily Oldfeld suffering a range of injuries that have kept her from playing at all this season. And that time it skims off the head of Foster through the penalty area. Gallagher will keep the ball in. Tried to lift in another cross. It's cleared high rather than away. Foster eventually gets the ball out of the penalty area. Satchel. And the ball runs out. I wonder, would Wellington think about changing their wingers? Could that be a way they could get Paige Satchel into the game a bit more? We see teams around the half-hour mark or 35 minutes tend to switch their wingers if they're playing a front 3. Is that something that Wellington could think about?
Yeah, it's definitely something that's a possibility for this Wellington side, and potentially Satchel stays on this side throughout this build-up after this corner.
We'll see if she makes her way back across the pitch, or if Millie Clegg is going to keep hugging the right touchline, as is the case right here. Clegg. Underhit the pass, but Ferris can't trap the ball, so Hassett's got a window of opportunity. And now Clegg again. Well, that's a couple of mishits in a row, and so Wanderers will take possession away. Gallagher back to Price. Now Gordon. Gallagher let the ball run on and is able to keep it in right on the paint of the line. Foster gets back goal side though. Harrison. Gordon. Harding played it sideways. Price was there. Some physical defending, is able to repel the ball away. Apostolakis. Neat movement from Wanderers here, trying to just find gaps in this Wellington defence, but Mackenzie Barry was able to dispossess Sophie Harding.
And that's a really clever little reverse pass played in by young Apostolakis. It's a non-dominant foot, and we're just going to ask Sophie Harding there to secure the football a little bit better and play a bit more of a target forward role in that moment.
Harding protecting the ball. Apostolakis didn't want to swing the ball in on the left side. Gallagher, little nutmeg here on Foster, but Foster's able to get back and guard, and it was a 2-on-1. Gallagher falls out of the way. Paige Satchel appears to be staying over on the left, but she can't get past Apostolakis here. Wanderers throw. I've got a bird's eye view and listen to the conversation going on between the 4th official and the bench as the ball is swung in. Harding misses the chance. Well, there was a volley on there after that ball in, but Sophie Harding didn't make contact.
Really, really good opportunity by Western Sydney Wanderers there. It's a well-weighted pass in. I think if Harding just uses the inside of her left foot to volley it there, we could potentially see Wanderers have gone 1-0 up.
Now shouts for a penalty, and the ball is cleared out for a throw. Sophie Harding's in the thick of all the action here. Claudia Chico looking a little bit sheepish. And I think Wanderers perhaps right to ask about a penalty decision there. Play continues, of course, no VAR in the A-League Women's. Hassett, dispossessed by Gordon. Wanderers sensing the chance to break through here and score first. Chloe Knott right on guard. And now Chico clears away. Hunt. Long ball over the top, as we see picture in picture here. Is that a penalty, Leah Blaney?
I don't think so. I don't think there's any malice in it. I think Harding's momentum maybe makes it a little bit more of that than what it is.
Here's another look full screen. So Harding got the better of Knott. Chico just had a nibble. Ball first?
I think she gets the ball first, yeah. Really, really good tackle.
And so Harding felt the full impact of going down to the turf. Got to say, Beck Mackey's certainly had no shortage of arguments either way. It's coming in both ears in this game. You can tell the 3 points mean a lot. Hassett. Now Wellington look to build. Not for the first time today, though. They've just not quite got that pass going. They're often picking out a defender when they probe forward.
Yeah, it's that final pass, and for most part it's been the weight of it, whether it was under hit like we just saw or over hit. There's the right ideas there, but needs to be played with more pace.
Gallagher spins away from Wisniewski. Comes back in. Little indiscriminate grab of the shirt. And it's going to be the first yellow card of the game too. So Grace Wisniewski, it hasn't been her day so far. And now she's going to have to walk the tightrope as the first player in the game to be booked.
And it's probably, and we'll look at the replay, but tactically it's probably not a bad foul by Wisniewski, given that it's a little bit of a counter-attacking moment if Western Sydney Wanderers can get away here. It's on halfway, so there's space in behind to exploit.
I don't know, if you do that twice, should you be sent off?
According to the rules of the game, yes.
So Grace Wisniewski gets a yellow card, doesn't look too worried about it. Apostolakis. Hunt hasn't been afraid to launch it long, but wants to go along the deck this time. Gordon. Harrison turns straight into the path of Wisniewski, and now not going back to the centre of defence. Mackenzie Barry. Of course, no Kate Taylor today due to suspension. Got sent off in the game against Brisbane Roar 2 weeks ago. Of course, the Phoenix had the bye last weekend, so that suspension is being served today.
And she's another player going in with this New Zealand senior national team on the back end of tremendous performance at the U20 World Cup and in the league. There's some really exciting young players coming out of New Zealand and Wellington at the moment.
Harrison. Underhit pass, intercepted by Clegg. Now Satchel. Quick to spin out to the left. Foster can really use that left foot. Puts it down the channel, but Claire Hunt knew exactly where the ball was going and is going to use the wind at her back in order to usher it over the line and make sure it doesn't crash into the photographer either.
And that's good learning for any young central defenders watching the game today. Claire Hunt isn't the most explosive player, but she positions herself well. She uses her body against players that have speed to make sure there's no danger.
Not. Now Clegg. Takes on Matos. Matos stays goal side. Clegg jinks in. Clever. And the shot is across the face. So much so that it wasn't ever really bending towards the target. It was, to be fair, more of a cross than a shot.
I think definitely more of a cross, and I wouldn't mind seeing young Millie Clegg potentially bend that with her left foot. We know she's a both-footed player, so I think the better route would have been an attempt on goal there.
I think the eyes give it away. That was definitely a cross rather than a bending shot. Just looking into the penalty area rather than at the target. Price. Gallagher. Wisniewski chasing again, but it's going to have to be a lot more careful now on a yellow card. Harding. Heard the shout from Gordon. Harding. Price. Perhaps wasn't expecting the ball to deflect her way, and a handball is given. Well, you did flag that these two teams are the lowest in the league for chance creation. I can tell you right now, no shots on target. Wanderers XG 0.08, Wellington's 0.07. So they are both desperately crying out for someone just to take this game on.
They are, and that last action is a good example of a potentially wasted opportunity. It's not a ball that's played in at Price's feet, so it's very difficult for her to deal with a pass that's up around her neck, chest area.
It's not like these teams lack players that can shoot from distance too, even if just for the sake of testing the keeper. We've seen Grace Wisniewski score one of the goals of the season. It was a goal of the month nominee for January. We know that Liv Price is capable of striking from the top of the box. They're just not isolating anyone in a shooting position at the moment. Here's Gordon. That might be all about to change. Gordon swings across. Harding touches it down. Here is Price in that position we just spoke about. It takes a deflection. Matos is there, prods it goalward, and there were plenty of Phoenix players back to stop it going any further. Now Harrison from distance, and that is the first shot on target. Well saved by Edwards around the post.
That's a great save by Brianna Edwards. Again, with this Western Sydney side, it's probably a one-touch finish there by Price. If you allow Wellington to get organised and set up, they're very difficult to break down in this final back third.
And the shot from Harrison, we said maybe it is time for long shots. Right there, a good drive. There's really flat trajectory on the ball.
It was struck really well, and again, it's not a bad route to goal for Western Sydney Wanderers, given also the known weaknesses of the Wellington goalkeeper Airley at times.
So here's the resulting corner. Harrison to take, and it's there for the opener. Sophie Harding with a glancing header. And after opening her account for the season against the Victory last week, she's on a scoring streak. Western Sydney Wanderers 1, Wellington Phoenix 0.
And that's an excellent delivery by Amy Harrison. It's whipped in. The timing of Harding's run there is fantastic, and she just gets enough on it to redirect it. Really, really good goal by Sophie Harding.
Jumped almost completely uncontested. The marking was zonal, was it, or man-to-man? Either way, it doesn't look good for Wellington. It looks great for Western Sydney. And it is Sophie Harding's 4th in 38 games in the Liberty A-League. And the 23-year-old who went down Media Street a bit during the week, she did a feature-length podcast interview talking about her life and her football. And, well, you can do that sort of thing when you let your boots and your head do the talking on the weekend, Leah.
Absolutely, and credit to Sophie Harding with that attempt. As I said, it's an excellent goal from a well-worked set-piece delivery. Advantage
given here. Gallagher trying to make it 2-in-2 and just dragged the shot across the face. Chloe Knott gets a little talking to there from the referee for the shirt grab, but unlike the Wisniewski yellow, there'll be no booking to accompany it. Here's another look at the foul. If Wisniewski's a yellow, Leah, is that one okay from Chloe Knott?
I think so, because she's in less of a position where the Wisniewski one, it was a breakaway for Western Sydney at halfway. It's probably denying a bit more of a goal-scoring chance to a degree.
Things starting to tilt downhill for Western Sydney now. They've got a sniff for the goal. Can they score a second before half-time? Foster catches the back of Gordon's legs, and it's going to be a free kick right on the edge of the box. And so this will be maybe a good free kick for a left-footed taker. Another look at the foul there right on the edge of the box.
Yeah, I think a left footer from this area of the field probably treat it like a corner for Western Sydney Wanderers in terms of their attack, and Wellington would be setting up defensively the same.
No one on the post. Pack of players beyond the far post here. Harrison slides it low. Pile up of bodies. Harding went to ground. Ball deflects into the gloves of Edwards and plays whistle dead here. Chico was the player that went in on Harding, but the referee didn't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah, they've definitely looked to exploit that near post area of Wellington with the delivery from Harrison and the runs of the Western Sydney Wanderers attackers.
So the trend is out for the first time today. Just having a word to Claudia Chico. Hard to tell exactly what the ailment is here. Might have been just a trailing hand to the face, I suspect. A flick to the eye. Doesn't look too worried at the moment. Another player that's been in your young Matildas setup, Leah?
Yes, Claudia Chico competed in the Pacific Nations tournament for us recently, and will report to national team camp tomorrow morning.
Looks as though she's all right, though, so at least she's not going to be reporting injured as a result of that last little coming together in the box.
Yes, very good to see.
This break in momentum might be important for Wellington here, because Wanderers are really starting to take over the game. They've got the goal, they've got their tails up, and now going at 62% possession. The telling stat, Leah, passes in the final third, 78-24. So the territory battle is now severely skewed Western Sydney's way.
It is, and it'll be about Western Sydney being clinical and making the most of the opportunities that they do create.
How Wellington would love to score against the run of play and find parity out of a situation where the momentum of the game is going squarely against them. Satchel, one of the senior Kiwi internationals, one of the ones they're looking to create. Chico back on the pitch. Barry, a hopeful pass. Gordon. Now Harrison. Steinmetz. Scooping a pass. Vandermeer out from the centre of defence. And again, play will be whistled dead, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's a bit of a trailing arm again here that's caught Sheridan Gallagher in the face. And the trainer is out now to look at Sheridan Gallagher. All right, Leah, I've really grilled you on this one. This was a yellow. Look out, not even across the halfway line. And then Chloe Knott later in the half, opposite side of the halfway line.
Yeah, look, I'm going to go with the space in behind that was available for Western Sydney, so the disadvantage that the first one put them at, and then also the period in the game that it happened. At the initial yellow card, there was a few 50-50 calls by Beck Mackey that maybe had her under the pump a little bit, and it was time to actually pull out that card to maintain some control of this game.
Play back underway again. Gallagher has walked over to the sideline to be treated. 11 total fouls in the game as we come up to the half-time whistle. How many minutes of stoppage will we get? There was a drinks break. Looks as though 5 is the magic number. Fourth official today is Michaela Ryan. Plenty of time for either team to score another goal.
There is, and we know this Wellington side have a never say die mentality. They don't throw in the towel when they're down a goal. They've come back in games previously.
Foster showing us what you can do on that right foot. Across the pitch, Chico, not to the advantage of Chloe Knott. So they have to concede a little bit of ground here, Wellington. Alexia Apostolakis, hard to believe she's still just 16 and will be until May. Debuted as a 15-year-old last season. Today's game number 22 of her career. He's had plenty to do at right back so far today. Harrison caught in possession by Pritchard. And now Clegg. Hassett had to go and chase her first touch, but it's going to work out because their numbers are in support. And now Clegg, well, showed a lot of the ball to Apostolakis and then went and won it back from her. Wisniewski to Chloe Knott. Can Wellington fire their first shot on target? They can't. Chico lifts that one high. Better from Wellington, but it still lacked the finishing touch.
Yeah, definitely better in terms of them being able to change sides quickly and find that space. I would say with Claudia Chico's attempt there, a little bit more composure. She actually has to lean over it more, a tough angle. So does she take a touch, change feet and strike that with her left foot?
In an ideal world, you're not teeing up your right back to shoot from that distance either.
No. But you are hoping that in that moment they do have more composure and you're going to expect more.
So 2 minutes of 5 stoppage at the end of the first half played. Is this a little burst here from Wellington to just try and jag a goal back before the half-time break? Ferris, speaking of composure, had to be on that pass. Matos lifts it away. Barry, Knott. Now Wisniewski. Foster. A sweeping cross. And that's going to deflect off Ferris. Out for a corner kick.
And if Ferris is positioned quite well, but she actually has to move her feet quicker and open her body up so she can redirect that back up the pitch or out for a throw. And you don't want to be giving away set pieces.
So Michaela Foster, whose set piece delivery and crossing in general has led to goals this year. Well, it's going to undo all of the work to win the corner by playing it straight to Bethany Gordon, and now it's out for a goal kick. Well, in a half where they have created precious little, that seems like a bit of a waste to not even put it in the box and test the keeper.
Definitely a waste. This is an optimal time for Wellington to get on the scoreboard and go into the sheds at 1-1.
Price.
Right shoulder win, right shoulder win.
Wellington throw. Harding knocks the ball to Gallagher, and Gallagher can turn and go. Wanderers trying to use a bit of the pace in the team, but Wisniewski a good backtracking run to win the ball away. 1 minute of additional time to go. Apostolakis. Wisniewski. Chico. The crowd rising at the end of the half here, sensing this could be a big defensive stand for the Wanderers to protect their lead to the break. Satchel. Up against Matos. A snap at the heels. Satchel recovers the ball. And it is a corner, and this will suit the left foot of Michaela Foster here. One last in-swinger. And the Phoenix, of course, have spent this half attacking with the wind at their backs. So that's how Paige Satchel was able to win the corner kick. Stoppage time will have expired here, but they'll get one last chance here before the break to try and bring the game level. Foster marks out the run-up. In comes the corner to the near post. Bloom is not quite there. The header from Vandermeer, and it's propelled away off the line by Matos. Do they get a second time ball in? Stoppage time's up. Phoenix, the clock's their enemy. Ava Pritchard cuts inside. The shot's blocked away, and the Wanderers, well, they're not quite on for the counter-attack because there was no one running ahead of that pass. And that will take us to half-time. Maybe a sign of what's to come with Wellington warming into the game as the half went on. But it's Sophie Harding who's the difference maker at the break. Wellington, for all their effort, didn't put a shot on target in that first half. And it's Western Sydney Wanderers 1, Wellington Phoenix 0. Leah Blaney, as we take a look at some of the stats, your thoughts on the first half?
Obviously, Western Sydney Wanderers have dominated possession. They've made the most of their chances. I think the statistics are fairly fair in reflecting how the first half went, and Wanderers deserve to be 1-0 up.
Stay with us here on 10 Play and Paramount Plus. The second half will be coming up on the other side of the break.
can have a bit more content on what Channel 9 do on news and stuff.
I don't watch it, so bad.
You don't watch 7 or you don't watch
I don't watch 9 or 7.
Don't watch the news.
It's so bad. Embarrassing, mate.
Oh, mate, all the helicopter shots are the same because it's all from one person.
Yeah.
Joe. When I used to do news, mate, they used to create stories, right? Not get them out of the newspapers.
Yeah. You used to go and find stories.
Yeah.
Now most of the stories are found on YouTube.
Yeah. A lot of visions from fucking YouTube and bloody Facebook.
Yeah. And your mobile phone vision is so much. Every bulletin's got a certain amount of mobile phone vision.
Well, look at that car that was swept out to sea, you know, mobile phone.
Yeah.
That'll make your job easier.
Yeah. Still get paid.
You must be able to pick your own shifts now, can you? Because you've been there so
I want a set shift, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
So I do Sundays and Mondays I do Today Show. And then I do 8 till 4, Tuesday, Thursday. And then I get a choice if I want to work extra days. Go for extra cash. On Friday or Saturdays is always 8 hours.
Last 4 years I did Channel 7 in Melbourne. I did Turn the Burgers. No one else was doing that weekends off, which is great.
Okay.
You know Mel Trelagan in Melbourne?
Sorry?
You know Mel Trelagan in Melbourne? He's been there about 30 years.
What, sorry?
He's been there about 30 years.
Yeah. I don't know how many people in Melbourne.
Let's welcome back your Western Sydney Wanderers for the second half against Wellington Phoenix.
All been good.
Welcome back to live pictures from Wanderers Football Park, where the home team, Western Sydney Wanderers, lead 1-0 and are on track to post what would be their first win against Wellington Phoenix, a team they're yet to beat in the A-League Women's. Young Matilda's coach Leah Blaney is here, and Leah, it was a physical first half, 11 total fouls, and that's with the referee letting quite a bit of physical play go along the way too.
Very cool, very physical first half, Teo, and I think it just highlights the competitiveness between both of these squads.
What it really needs is a few more touches of class, along with all the rough and tumble. That was a penalty shout for Western Sydney. This was the only yellow card of the half for Grace Wisniewski. And in the end, it was Western Sydney Wanderers who were able to score from a corner. Sophie Harding, 2 in 2 now, and up to 4 career goals in the A-League Women's for the 23-year-old. Just a bit too tall at the set piece there, and you got to wonder what the defending is going on there from Wellington too.
Excellent delivery, well-timed jump by Harding, and poor marking by Wellington Phoenix.
So that's the state of play at the start of the second half. And we have made mention of how windy it is out at Wanderers Football Park today. It should, if it doesn't swing around or drop off, be at the backs of the Wanderers. And we're having a look here at the net. It was hardly the most ferocious goal, but it's proven to be a net buster. And so we've got a couple of Wanderers staff here who are getting out the cat's cradle and just repairing the net there, tying it back up. Looks like the job's done. Well done, you two. And we're ready to get the game back underway. So it's a 1-0 advantage to Western Sydney. Head-to-heads between these two teams. 1 Wellington win and 2 draws. And so Wanderers are getting a little bit closer to punching the ticket to say that they've finally beaten the Wellington Phoenix, who themselves are desperate to try and get back in this game and avoid the wooden spoon this season, as their finals hopes may be dashed, but they can definitely still shake up the rest of the competition with some good results. Here's Sheridan Gallagher on the ball. No subs at half-time for either team. Playing the ball to Liv Price. But Leah, when we look at the two benches, is there anyone that jumps out to you as someone you'd like to see into the game sooner rather than later?
I think Isabel Gomez could be a real asset for this Wellington side, just given her technical ability and her longer passing ranges to maybe exploit a bit of space in behind for Western Sydney. And we know Robertson's a match winner. She's scored goals for Wellington before that's helped them win games.
So there's the Wellington bench. Emma Ralston back from suspension as well, the veteran Kiwi attacker. Who will we see thrown into the mixer right now? Both teams happy to roll with the 11s that started. And this is a free kick with the wind at the back here. Don't rule out the direct shot on goal.
No, and we spoke of substitutes. This is probably Sienna Silvesca territory, given probably prefer a left footer on this, and we know the quality, and with the addition of the wind this young player has off dead balls.
Amy Harrison has scored from an indirect free kick this season here at this venue against Western United. There's 4 on the wall. Harrison is going to shoot into that wall, and the ball deflects laterally. It's cleared by Wisniewski. Apostolakis. Back to Danica Matos, and then Harrison caught from the blind side by Chloe Knott. And now Wellington, can they break at speed? Paige Satchell has plenty of it. Wanderers defence all getting back behind the ball though. Satchell trying to take them all on. Here's Wisniewski in space, and sends a pass that's not to the advantage of Clegg. Has to dink it back to Foster. It was all just a little bit slow and pained there.
It was, and I'm not sure why Wisniewski didn't take the opportunity to shoot there. And you can hear the direction from the bench to pass, but I think she needs to back herself and shoot with her left foot. Foster swings in a ball. It falls in the penalty area, but no one attacking the ball. Satchell rolls away and is able to run it down. Chico. And is going to concede a good 35-40 metres back to the halfway line. Mackenzie Barry. And now Vandermeer. Foster. Clegg. Jags inside Millie Clegg. The shot might be on here for Clegg. And it was just a side-footed hopeful rather than anything with real ferocity. It still wins a corner, but well, the technique was an interesting choice. Yeah, it's the right decision to come inside. I've touched on it before. This is such an exciting player coming out of New Zealand, given that she's both-footed. She's just got to strike that with more conviction and probably try to hit the opposite side of Jordan Bloomer, not the near post zone.
Still a young player, only 17, but has already made such a great impression on the A-League Women's that it's probably not unreasonable to have expectations of her already. Ball in at the near post is dealt with by Apostolakis. Second ball back into the box. Claire Hunt is there, a hard-won header. And now Harding out to her own advantage. And the straight line speed of Harding will be difficult for Mackenzie Barry to chase. Harding consolidates on the ball. Wellington scrambling back in numbers. Gallagher legged. And the referee doesn't reach for the whistle. And now Wellington have got their midfield and defence back in position. Price. Harding stayed over on the left flank. And the cross is over the head of Bethany Gordon at the back post. And now Apostolakis up against the line in a battle against Foster, the two number 21s. And it's Apostolakis who prevails. Gordon. Price, the first touch. Maybe not aware that Chloe Knott was guarding her. And now the Wellington Phoenix clear for a throw. Kat Smith, the Wanderers coach, watching on as her team look to build through the right. Gordon dispossessed and the ball is booted high. Hunt through with the header. Clegg to Hassett. Bit of speed back in the game at the start of the second half here. Millie Clegg with runners central. Looked up at Claire Hunt and a little touch on the ball. Hasn't stopped the Phoenix. They continue to press forward. Wisniewski. The long shot's on here for Wisniewski. And it goes just wide of the top right.
And it's not a bad effort by Wisniewski. She's slightly off balance, so that's why she sprays it. But it's the right decision, and it's done with the conviction that we want to see out of this player. We know she's technically good with good passing ranges, but as you can see, that final touch, she's slightly off balance.
It was the right height, just slightly wide. And so a warning shot, quite literally, from the Wellington Phoenix here at the start of the second half. Hassett slides it low. Matos clearing. Gallagher riding the challenge once, twice, and getting the foul off Michaela Foster. Oh, Wisniewski's on a yellow here. Got to be careful not to pick a booking up for any time wasting or byplay. Here's the foul again.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely a foul on that occasion where she's made first contact with her and grabbed the shirt and then pushed her in the second instance.
Ball rolls underneath. Gallagher trying to make it count at the other end. Good save by Edwards. And she's crashed into her teammate Marissa Vandermeer, but it was the reflex save that was vital to keep Sheridan Gallagher from making it 2-0.
Excellent save by Edwards. She's quick off her line. She makes it a very, very difficult angle if Gallagher is able to get anything on it. It's very good goalkeeping.
Well, it was a pretty clever shot as well.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad attempt, and what I like most about the action is it's desperation by the attacking player to try and get a toe in there, and as I touched on with the goalkeeper, sometimes your defenders do come at the cost of you preventing a goal-scoring chance.
Oh, they can't afford to lose Marissa Vandermeer. Kate Taylor's already out suspended. Vandermeer playing at centre-back today. Looks as though she's going to be able to get up under her own steam. The trainer's out there very briefly. However, because the trainers are out there, she's going to have to leave the field and won't be able to defend this corner kick. So Wellington will be short-suited here, and Wanderers have got one player's advantage. You suspect only for one corner to try and make it count.
And that can make all the difference on a set piece if you lose somebody who's got a marking role or important in a zonal area.
Well, especially given that Wanderers scored from a corner in the first half. In it comes to the near post, and there was a push on Mackenzie Barry by Malia Steinmetz, meaning the play's whistled dead. Wellington looking a lot more sprightly at the start of the second half. Possession still 60-40 Wanderers' way in this second half, though. It's just the Phoenix are looking a little bit more energised when they have their turn with the ball. Here's Harding. Chico takes the ball away. Great challenge, but then hits the line and can't keep it in.
Excellent challenge by Chico, and that's the next bit to take to this player's game, that when you are defensively sound, just making sure you secure that first pass out of pressure when you do regain.
Matos dropping on the head of Barry, gets a second chance. Danica Matos slides it low this time through the legs of Harding. Harrison's there. Still Harrison. They show to the right-footed option. It's bobbled. And Gordon wasn't able to arrive in time. Edwards able to grasp on.
Right idea by Harrison, and really like Bethany Gordon as a midfielder following up and just putting herself in a position that if Bria Edwards' touch there does go a little bit firmer into her path, she can get something on it.
Still yet to score in the A-Leagues, Bethany Gordon. Up to 18 total shots in this game. It's a surprising number given that many of them haven't been particularly threatening, Leah. XG for the game at the moment, Wanderers 0.72, Wellington 0.23. So you can pepper and you can try, but I mean, from 18 shots, we've not seen too many of them that are particularly good shots.
Yeah, and on target and those genuine chances are really what matters. The rest might be poor decision making or wrong choice of technique if they're not on target.
Harrison sliding a pass. Harding decelerated there as Edwards came out off the line. Gallagher still a chance to chase the ball, and this time Edwards a bit calmer, getting across to pick it up, but Wanderers getting closer and closer to a second. It was Amy Harrison with that ball initially that needed the clearance. Hunt. Gordon brings it down to the advantage of Price. Harding calling for the pass. Strokes it back into the area. Gordon was there. Knocked off shins. It's away to Satchel. And then that pass going backwards has to be retrieved by Foster. Clegg. And now not. Switch of flanks. Over to Chico on the right. Oh, Satchel being corralled to the point she had to go and concede all the way back down into the defensive third. Wellington not making the most of possession. You can see the effect the wind is having too. Everything is just dragging it down to the left of Strand, or the car park end of the Wanderers football park. Here's Clegg. Through ball. Good pass. Ava Pritchard can't take it around the keeper. Jordan Bloomer out off the line, right at the edge of the box. Didn't have anywhere to go, really, but the ball was presented to her.
Excellent way to pass by Millie Clegg there, and Bloomer does so well to be quick off her line and again just make it a difficult angle so that when the attacking player does receive the ball, there isn't a lot of room to shoot or place something.
Well, Ava Pritchard knows what a good chance that was to bring this game level. The keeper was there to be rounded. And the Wellington Phoenix fans have found their voice, cheering on the away team today. Bending pass from Matos. Harding resumes her duel with Chico and gets around on this occasion. Harding. It's been shanked up in the air. And then Foster comes across. Looped back in again. Chico's header. It's not cleared the lines just yet. Steinmetz has a long shot chance and it's blocked by Chloe Knott. Hunt from way out. And again, the height, not the issue, but it does go wide of the target in the end.
And I think what I'd like to see in the remainder of this half by this Wellington side is that their wide players actually start to pin the Western Sydney Wanderers fullbacks by staying higher and wider and then using players like Paige Satchel's speed to get in behind in those areas.
We're getting close to the hour mark here. We will have a drinks break in this second half, but we're still yet to see either coach reach to the bench and bring on a substitute. There's Nat Lawrence. You see the subs warming up in the background. Vandermeer leaves the ball. This is awkward play. It's not a back pass to pick up a throw-in, I don't believe. Anyway, they've worked their way out of trouble. Hassett. Now Satchel. Paige Satchel. Breaks central. Hassett. Edge of the box. Lots of traffic to deal with. And the ball is cleared out there of Matos. Better from Paige Satchel.
Much better, and it's actually quite a well-worked build-up from goalkeeper to front third there by the Wellington Phoenix. I think what was key in it is just the movement of Hassett, that when Pritchard starts to drift wide, she can receive the ball in central areas, and then if they can switch the play to Satchel in space, they're going to create these kind of chances.
And again, the left foot of Michaela Foster could be so important to getting Wellington an equaliser here. Insists on having the socks pulled up over the knees before striking this corner kick. You see the goal line is heavily populated. In it comes from Foster, falling right on the keeper, and good chance there for Satchel, who rose to the header but couldn't keep it down.
Oh, and that's a fantastic delivery, and we probably wouldn't expect anything less from Foster. She's fairly consistent where it's well struck, it's bending right in towards Satchel, and Satchel's just got to do better to get up higher and head that down on target.
Oh, the goalkeeper's nowhere near this in the end, and took a bit of a risk there, Jordan Bloomer, with a little push to push off an opponent too, but all it succeeded in doing was getting her further away from the ball.
And that's the tactic to employ on corners against this Western Sydney side, given Bloomer's strengths in that area.
Wisniewski. Wellington now. They've had a golden chance to equalise. Can they keep the pressure on? Satchel's having a little purple patch in the game. Runs into Price here, though. And the ball is sliced away by Gemma Ferris. And we are going to see the first sub almost on the hour mark exactly. And as the board goes up, it's Michaela Robertson who's coming on, and she's going to replace Ava Pritchard here. So Robertson, the diminutive pocket rocket, who's popped up at key times this season for 1 goal in her 9 appearances, now comes on hoping to find a second.
Yeah, and I hate to say it that we called it, Teo, but she's a match winner. We've seen her get the 3 points to Wellington before in these scenarios, so Nat Lawrence can rely on her.
Let's see how that first sub of the game changes the Wellington attacking dynamic. Robertson straight up front, replacing Pritchard. Vandermeer. Hits it over to Chico. And hits it long down the channel for Clegg against Ferris, and the youngster does well, and the even younger Clegg is there to win the ball back. Squares it. Wisniewski chased her first touch, and Claire Hunt put a block tackle on. Apostolakis didn't know the keeper was coming. It's a little bit hectic back there for Wanderers at the moment.
It is. I think we're seeing with this Wellington side, they have had the better of the momentum since the start of the second half.
Harrison's pass straight to Barry. Might be coming back with interest here. Hassett commanding a lot more of the ball. And this is Robertson. Forced to concede 15 metres, and Gallagher sharks the pass. That is defending from the front. And now Steinmetz. Apostolakis. Gallagher weaving through midfield. Matos, the defender, getting forward, bending it onto the head of Mackenzie Barry. Through comes Steinmetz. Chloe Knott doesn't trap the ball decisively, but shuffles it out to Chico. Chico just goes for distance. Gordon into a 1-on-2. Price made it work. Matos. Harding. Danica Matos advancing. Matos shoots, deflected wide. Well, the referee's saying a goal kick, but I reckon that caught a shin of a Phoenix player. Danica Matos has never scored an A-League women's goal. This is as close as she's been.
Yeah, and it's a really clever little pass by Sophie Harding there. Potentially, given that the Wellington defender is coming out at such speed and plants their feet, Matos actually takes a touch onto her left and then strikes it across the goalkeeper.
No deflection, goal kick?
I think so.
So Danica Matos, today is career appearance number 41 for the 23-year-old. Plays for the Illawarra Stingrays in the New South Wales NPL. Still looking for that first goal, though. There is Robertson, the one and only sub that's come into the game so far, the 26-year-old. Wisniewski. A lot more breathing space for Wellington's creative players in this second half too. Satchel. Chloe Knott. Foster. Now Robertson. Taking on Apostolakis, has her path blocked. And in an attempt to win the ball back, just presented it to Bethany Gordon. Gallagher. Intercepted. Chico. Lifts across to the edge of the box. It's brought down by Hassett. Didn't want to tee up Wisniewski. Is given the space to turn, but then deflected away by Gordon. Not trapping Wanderers in their defensive half. Robertson. The low pass, Clegg shouts for offside. Flag stays down, Clegg cuts it back. Through the legs of Harrison. Here's Satchel on the turn. And now Wisniewski. Wellington attackers just got to be careful not to tread on each other's toes here. They're getting closer and closer. But right now, Wanderers are keeping the door slammed shut.
They are, and I think what's contributing to this resurgence of energy by Wellington is their commitment to their counter press. So when they are losing the ball, they are looking to win it back straight away, and it's actually pinning this Western Sydney side in this back third for the last minute or so.
Chico. Things just slowed down a little. Now they've got to be careful not to cough up the ball, make a mistake that undoes all the pressure they're building. The pass is deflected. Robertson trying to use her speed onto the ball as Apostolakis goes to ground. Claire Hunt is there, just diffusing any spot fires that pop up.
And that's excellent cover and positioning by Claire Hunt to clean that up on that occasion. You know, we talk about this defender's intelligence. She positions herself well that she's just close enough that if Apostolakis is beat, she can win the ball.
As we saw there on the replay, and the ball's right down the other end and leading to a foul and a free kick, which again, if it catches the wind, could well be within shooting range here. We've got Alessia Apostolakis down. She was subbed off against Melbourne Victory last week, Leah, but it didn't turn out to be a serious injury. It was more just a knock in the game, which proved to be a problem.
Yeah, and that might ring true right now as well. I'm definitely hoping for that.
Of course, Apostolakis is another of the players that's coming into your Young Matildas camp. Just while we have this little break in play and we look at this challenge from Claire Hunt, tell us what's coming up for the Young Matildas in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, we go into camp tomorrow during the FIFA window, and we'll play 2 games against Melbourne City and Western United at the end of the week, which will be our lead into our round 1 of qualifiers for our next Youth World Cup cycle being held in Central Asia in March.
Of course, those two, Western United and Melbourne City, playing each other yesterday at Amy Park. It ended in a win for Western, which keeps them top of the league at the end of the weekend. And as Apostolakis walks to the sidelines, as things stand, Western Sydney Wanderers would be improving up to 14 points, which would, from the same number of games played, still see them 8 points behind Melbourne Victory in the top 4. But with plenty of the season still to be played. Alessia Apostolakis' number is up, and we're going to see Ella Abdulmasi come on, the 16-year-old. On for just her second appearance of the season, Abdulmasi. She got a handful of games at the end of last season after being signed as a mid-season train-on. And after spending the winter at the Football New South Wales Institute, she comes on here and gets another opportunity. So, free kick for Western Sydney. Claire Hunt stands over the ball. We know she can fire from distance. Let's see what Hunt can do. Through the wall it goes, but on one bounce it's easily held by Edwards. Is that a straight swap? Abdul Masih out to right back for Apostolakis, or are we going to see potentially a bit of a defensive shuffle here?
No, I think it's a straight swap. You're going to get two very differing player profiles, given Alexia Apostolakis is a little bit more of an up and down fullback. You know, Ella Abdul Masih has excellent technical ability, so she'll definitely be adding to this Western Sydney Wanderers build-up on different occasions.
And it looks like we're going to have another substitution here, not the drinks break. Fourth official is Michaela Ryan, saying the sub's going to go through during the drinks break. Well, it's a double change being lined up, and it looks like Emma Ralston and another former Western Sydney player, Izzy Gomez, are going to come on. There's a concern here for Bethany Gordon in the meantime, as the trainer is out for her, but that has prompted the drinks break to take place with 20 minutes of regulation to go.
And should Bethany Gordon need to go off on this occasion, if we look at the Western Sydney Wanderers bench, they've got plenty of midfielders available in Amy Cesari and Sienna Silvesca.
Here's another look at some of the chances that have popped up during this second half. That was the deflected shot from Millie Clegg that went out for a corner, and we had Grace Wisniewski firing just wide of the top right. That's about as close as Wellington have come, well, to that point to an equaliser, but then later on we had the header from Paige Satchell from point-blank range that, to be fair, Leah, she didn't know a great deal about, but the opportunities are starting to pile up here for Wellington.
They are. Wellington have had some really good momentum in this half, and I wouldn't be surprised if they don't jag one in the remaining minutes.
And that was the best of them all, Paige Satchell. Conversation between the officials continues about Bethany Gordon, but the subs in the meantime are going through. And the Wellington Phoenix are bringing off Paige Satchell for Izzy Gomez. And they're also going to be replacing Chloe Knott with Emma Ralston. And I guess this is pretty important here for Emma Ralston, because this will be her 5th appearance of the season. She's yet to score a goal. This is a senior New Zealand international, and that red card for the scuffle with Ella Mastro-Antonio about a month ago now really put the brakes on her season.
Yeah, and this is definitely the occasion for Ralston to come back in and make a positive contribution to her side for the remainder of the game. I dare say Gomez slips into a midfield position with this change, and Ralston that attacking threat.
Ralston, 26 years old, has played in Norway and Germany as a professional, full Kiwi international. Comes with a level of expectation coming to the Liberty A-League. Izzy Gomez, as I mentioned, former Wanderer, playing against her old team. Has only appeared 5 times this season, though. Had a delayed start to the campaign due to injury, but is now starting to get some match minutes up. Robertson. Now Foster getting forward down the left side. Has the space to send in across, but can't find a teammate. Can't even beat the nearest defender, Claire Hunt. Back it goes. Ralston, fresh off the bench. Vandermeer. Chico, with plenty of space to work with, is going to just hit it high and diagonal. It falls to Ralston. Wasn't expecting the ball. It went over the head of Abdul Masih, who is now perhaps even shorter than Michaela Robertson, is the most diminutive little pocket rocket on the pitch.
And given the state of the game, I wouldn't be surprised if tactically Wellington don't change too much, given they've got a little bit of momentum here. But there are some options for Wellington where they can potentially go to a back three and push some more numbers up high a little bit later on.
Oh, that looked out. Assistant referee didn't raise the flag, but the Wanderers are getting the ball back regardless. Price. Steinmetz. Harrison. Physical attention from Clegg, and then a combination of Clegg and Chico win the ball back. Robertson inside. Here's Hassett. Brings Foster into the game. Gomez. Gallagher chasing. Gomez battling. And the ball was knocked away, but Gomez went and retrieved it. Now Robertson up against Ferris. And Matos comes across. Block tackle made. It still feels as though Wellington are counting down, building up to an equalising goal here. It's about the execution though. Millie Clegg got the look, but did not have the poise.
Oh, and I'm surprised Clegg didn't dribble a little bit closer. She's well and truly sold Gemma Ferris on that occasion. I think she can dribble a little bit closer and then execute a finish.
Huge clearance from Jordan Bloomer. Flips the field. Wanderers down in attack now, but not for long. Robertson. Satchel. Here's another look on the replay here. It was a great move to lose Gemma Ferris, but it was shoot on sight rather than assess the options.
Yeah, I think a little bit premature there by Clegg.
Here's Bethany Gordon getting it underneath, right down at the byline, tries to twist it back, and the assistant referee says it's a corner. And the Phoenix were trying to bluff there, but they're going to have to defend a corner instead. Here's another look. It was a, well, literally line ball decision, Leah. And tough for the assistant referee over on the outer side, of course, out of a sea of legs. Western Sydney Wanderers are going to sub off Amy Harrison here for Amy Chisari. So they're bringing off a capped international in Harrison, 26 years old, for the youngster Chisari, making her 5th appearance at 18.
And they're probably just looking for a little bit more energy in this centre midfield position, given that Chisari is a box-to-box midfielder. I think Harrison's actually had a very good game in terms of controlling this midfield, but it's probably looking just to freshen it up a bit.
And now we see Sheridan Gallagher coming off for Holly Caspers as well.
Again, probably just to freshen it up a little bit. Caspers is extremely explosive. Gallagher's put in a tremendous shift of counter-pressing and doing a lot of the dirty work that goes unnoticed for this Western Sydney Wanderers side off the ball throughout the match.
So, double sub before the corner kick for Western Sydney. And it's cleared initially, looped over the shoulder, and out for a goal kick by Claire Hunt. Not done to any great effect there. Returns to the centre of defence. Caspers has been sparingly used this season, just a 7th appearance, and hasn't actually played since the corresponding fixture against Wellington back on New Year's Day. So she'll be desperate for some game time here. Can she come on and make a difference? The number 25 ahead of the ball here. Price in the pocket, steps around at the edge of the box. Just trying to recreate her goal against Melbourne City there. Matos with a shot. Well, and if you had the lottery ticket for Danica Matos to pop up and score today, at least she's had a couple of shots in anger. Yeah,
she's definitely pushing on high, so she's getting in positions where during second phase the ball's popping out. I think, again, just choice of technique. She uses the inside of the foot, take a touch. A better effort may have resulted from using her laces and driving the ball there.
Well, a second goal for Western Sydney would certainly short-circuit this comeback from Wellington that we've been watching gradually build during the second half. As it stands, just a single goal from Sophie Harding separates the teams, and here she is on the ball right now, looking for a second Harding. Rides a couple of challenges, but couldn't be the third opponent. Robertson plays it on. Hassett playing it central. Gomez sweeping it out to the left side of the pitch. Abdul Massi committed to the ball and did well to win it away. Caspers, first touch off the bench. Knocking it back to Ferris. Claire Hunt assessed the options and then decided to drive it long. Chico intercepts, but only as far as Steinmetz. Now Matos to Harding. Matos making the run underneath. And then is forced back outside. And then drags down Claudia Chico. Referee says it's a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. And so Wanderers go and win the ball back as a result. Matos again, reloading to the edge of the box. Gordon. And the ball is cleared only as far as Steinmetz.
And Mackenzie Barry has put in 2 excellent tackles throughout the last couple of attacking actions by Western Sydney Wanderers. She's definitely a player in this Wellington side who uses her body well and positions herself at the right time.
There's a replay of the non-call from the referee. Both players with their arms locked going to ground. And the referee pointing to the bench because we've got another sub on the way here, and it's going to be Saskia Vosper coming on and Claudia Chico coming off. So fresh legs here, like for like swap.
Very similar players. Vosper's going to bring a lot of energy. Obviously, Chico's pipped her on this occasion to start, so Vosper's going to come on with a point to prove and hopefully get forward and help create some goal-scoring chances for Wellington.
So the throw in to the edge of the box. Steinmetz. The ball sat up for Clegg, and now Wellington have got players breaking into space. Can they go end to end at speed though? Foster hits the pass. We just saw everything decelerate in real time there, didn't we, Leah? They had players on the break, but they didn't have the ball speed to match. And now Wanderers coming back the other way. Harding taking on the sub Vosper. Welcome to the game, Saskia Vosper. Harding cuts back, no one waiting at the far post, and that was a ball tailor-made for a tap-in.
It was definitely missing somebody arriving far post there, and again, is that a result of having two central strikers where it can be difficult to have players arriving from wide areas.
Gordon catches Vosper in possession. Vosper recovers. Lots of shirt grabbing going on. And Vosper perhaps right to ask the question. They resume their duel. Vosper gets the better this time. Getting a little proppy over the pass, but eventually fires it over to Foster on the outer side. Phoenix keeping possession, but not really threatening at present. They've shaded it in the second half, 54 to 46. But at the end of a long passage of play there, they never really advanced the ball.
No, they haven't been, and I think this Wellington side, for most part, really need to play for their strengths, and I keep touching on it. They have speed in wide areas, so I think if they can exploit this space in behind a little bit more, they'll ask a few more questions of this Western Sydney side.
Chisari, Harding, cleared from the centre of defence. Caspers. Ball ends up back at the feet of Edwards. Foster grabbed as she goes past Chisari. Advantage given. Now a tap of the ankles, and eventually the whistle goes.
And when you're chasing a game like Wellington are, the constant stoppages are things you want to avoid. You don't want your momentum to be broken up. You don't want time to be wasted where you're waiting for a dead ball to be taken in this area of the field or a throw-in to come in, those kind of moments.
Here comes the cross from Foster. Bloomer comes out, and Clegg was trying to make a near-post run, but the ball had just enough to get into the goalkeeper's gloves.
Jordan Bloom has done really well to come off a line and just command that 6-yard to penalty spot zone, which is what we want our goalkeepers doing.
Having another look picture in picture. Right idea from Clegg, but the cross was already well ahead of her run. Michaela Foster, the plan that the Phoenix are looking to drive the ball up the pitch. Hassett touched on, it sits up. Clegg couldn't make ground, always a tough chase on that occasion, and Bloomer not for the first time. Just goes for distance. Harding chasing it down. Red one football from the Wanderers. And Harding didn't get enough elevation behind the header.
And that's excellent by the American goalkeeper there. It's a quick release. She knows Harding's very, very fast in behind. So she almost comes up with the assist.
That was properly getting it launched, wasn't it? Look how high it bounces as it rears up off the turf too.
Yeah, it was, and probably a better choice of technique there is if Sophie Harding actually volleys that with her left foot making contact with her laces.
Well, as of last week, Sophie Harding was actually the #1 player in the competition for XG without having scored. So she'll be relieved to have hit the back of the net twice now, because it's that weight of expectation that you're getting into goal-scoring positions and you just can't put one in. So she's got 2 in 2. But it's also evidence that she gets plenty of chances to add to that tally.
Gets in excellent goal-scoring position, so hoping this breaks the drought for Harding.
Steinmetz. Claire Hunt. Now Ella Abdul-Masih. We've not really seen her venture forward since coming on as a sub. Caspers hits the byline. Foster's there. The ball didn't find its way out just yet. Caspers attracting the attention of defenders, but can't find a teammate with the pass. Clegg sandwiched in a 1-on-2. Look to the referee. The referee wasn't answering. Abdul-Masih's throw. Gordon charging in on Foster, who clears to the line. Matt Lawrence takes a look at the watch. Both benches will know that due to the drinks break that there will still be a sizable chunk of stoppage time. Chisari denied by Ralston's slide tackle at the edge of the box. Wisniewski. Now Gomez, the Phoenix. Won't go end-to-end with passes like that. Intercepted by Ferris.
And Western Sydney Wanderers need to use this time now to keep possession and just create further chances. The game's definitely not done.
Caspers gets into the back of Izzy Gomez there, commits the foul. Just imagine that if they stay 1-0 up, Caspers is the sort of player that's going to be chasing the ball down into the corner rather than towards goal, as Wanderers try to drop anchor and get to the finish line. But for now, they're pressing for a second goal. They want to make it safe. Intercepted here by Vandermeer. Diagonal ball over to Matos, but down in the corner. And she's quick, but she can't run that down. See, they're 19 shots to 9, and yet Wanderers have only just ticked over 1.03 XG. Wellington Phoenix, 9 shots, 0.05 XG for the game. So, again, they're low percentage attempts. They're not... It's not like we're talking about missing tap-ins or great opportunities to score here.
And I think both coaches following this game direction to the teams will be a little bit more patient and working on better decision-making in that front third during those moments.
Give away from Claire Hunt here, and the Phoenix weren't willing to turn and go immediately. It allows Wanderers to consolidate back on the ball again. Chisari buzzing around. And then gets her pocket picked by Wisniewski. Ralston. Robertson. Bethany Gordon. Liv Price, look at the space that's opened up here for Western Sydney. Price, decision time as the edge of the box looms, and well, it's exactly what you were talking about, Leah.
Yeah, and Olivia Price is a clever player. So in that moment, Wellington have a narrow back four. She needs people positioned in wide areas.
Abdul-Masih is just going to go for glory. Went on a run, decided to take the shot after accepting the invitation. And that one was always rising. Yet to score in the A-League Women's after Ella Abdul-Masih, only a 7th career appearance for the 16-year-old.
She does really well to attack the space, and I don't mind the confidence from the youngster. She's just got to lean over that when she strikes it. Leant back a bit too much.
Chisari treading on the toes of Harding. Through comes Mackenzie Barry. Hassett. Hassett able to hold off a couple of opponents. Foster hasn't stopped trying. Ralston yet to really make an impact off the bench. Here's Betsy Hassett now, jagging inside, gets the better of Abdul Massi at the edge of the box, squared it to Clegg. Maybe wasn't expecting the pass, Millie Clegg. And Chisari clears away. Saskia Vosper pressing up. The Phoenix sensing a chance to grab an equaliser here. Diving header from Abdul Massi gets the ball away, and then Chisari clears. Caspers looks around, sees no teammates, and defers back to Bethany Gordon. And the Phoenix, how much energy do they have left in the legs to keep chasing? Wanderers won't wind this. They're happy to wind the clock.
And they need to actually release right now and sacrifice. They're going to get played through, but they need to make Western Sydney make a decision here and get themselves in a better position to win the ball back and build.
So the clock now very much the enemy of Wellington. Western Sydney getting closer to 3 points that'll keep their season very much alive. Last minute of regulation. Vosper. High, hopeful ball. Headed away by Hunt. Steinmetz. The header comes through from Vandermeer. And now Ella Abdul-Massi is going to knock it right back to Jordan Bloomer. And we know that Bloomer is a super boot and can clear for distance if she needs to. Bit of byplay ensues, though. They're going to get stuck down in the corner here, Western Sydney. They'll have to be clever to work their way out of this. Ella Abdul-Massi straight to Vandermeer. Price is there, so's Caspers. And Bethany Gordon fouled. Izzy Gomez, and every time the ball stops, that's a great chance for Western Sydney to waste a few more seconds.
It is, and I'm surprised that Wellington aren't throwing further numbers forward here to try and cause a little bit more disruption to the street smarts of Western Sydney in terms of a little bit of the time wasting holding the ball at the back and those kind of things.
Liv Price's number is up right as the game ticks into stoppage time, so she comes off here for 16-year-old Sienna Saveska to make her 4th appearance of the season, all of them as a substitute.
Yeah, and I dare say this is tactical by Western Sydney Wanderers to wind down the clock a little bit and eat into a little bit more time.
And 7 additional minutes is the call from the assistant referee. So, yeah, the clock was Wellington's enemy. Now it becomes their friend for just a little bit longer. But they're starting to look exhausted out there. Will they actually have the energy to muster up one last chance? You feel as though, Leah, they almost need to win themselves a free kick or a corner, and something that can allow them to take a breather and then go into the penalty area.
I think they do, and I do think, given the strengths within this Wellington side, they need to go a little bit more direct and pin this Western Sydney side in that back third and have them have to weather attack after attack.
Well, this is just wasting their own time here. It's a goal kick. Kick off. Get it away. Eventually, it's airborne. Skimming off heads. Matos sends it right back from where it came. Vandermeer. He's got to be careful with Caspers. The sub buzzing around here, pressing right up to the goalkeeper. Barry sending it down to Vosper in the corner. Hugging the line. Difficult to do. And they cough up possession. There's Kat Smith, prowling the bench, looking at the watch. This would be Wanderers' 4th win of the campaign if they can get over the line here. And Harding made a physical presence, but not able to actually affect the ball. Vosper seeing it safely out. But that's 2 minutes of the 7 already down, and Wellington have barely left their defensive half since the 4th officials board went up. foul. Ball is kicked away by Sienna Silvestre and is going to get a technical yellow card for time wasting. Vandermeer. And they still can't break the shackles here, Wellington. They're trapped down at the wrong end of the pitch as far as they're concerned. And then a foul here by Foster. And the Wanderers, well, they've dropped anchor here. They're just in time-wasting protocol, and Wellington are tied up in knots.
They are, and they're applying enough pressure, this Western Sydney side, to keep Wellington pinned in this back third. I touched on the need for Wellington to actually do that to Western Sydney at the other end. So Western Sydney definitely have Wellington Phoenix exactly where they want them at the moment.
Fair enough call, the foul. Clash of legs there. Looked like a bit of a knee to the back of the leg of Bethany Gordon, and that's why she's perhaps struggling, cramping up.
Yeah, I think a definite foul, and we're obviously hoping we can get the game underway sooner than later, and Bethany Gordon just returns to the field shortly.
Of course, Wanderers have now emptied their bench of all the outfielders, so they're going to be down a player here. Is it going to matter? They've got the ball down at their attacking end. Abdul Massi to Caspers. Caspers hits the byline rather than take it to the corner and then gives it back to the goalkeeper. Is this the breathing space that Wellington need to get it launched? Oh, that's a high up and under clearance, and Edwards throws her head back in frustration that she didn't get any distance against the wind. Wisniewski, they're still only at the top of their defensive penalty area. 4 of the 7 minutes ticked by. Foster. Gordon still on the sidelines. Wanderers still down to 10 players. Ball played into space. The goalkeeper's out Bloomer and met the ball with force.
Yeah, and once again, Bloomer's well positioned to just clean that up.
Barry to Vosper. Wisniewski, neat triangle of passes. Under the ref it goes. Gomez. Pinpoint out to the left. Here's Betsy Hassett. Drags the ball into the box. Crossing, teasing for a tap in, and there was no one there. Ralston was late to the ball. Now Saskia Vosper. Wellington have got numbers forward. It needs a good cross. It tumbles into the box. It sits up for the chance. And Izzy Gomez, the first touch wasn't there when she needed it.
2 excellent chances by the Wellington Phoenix. A change of acceleration sees Ralston arrive on time for the first delivery, so that she's on the end of it. I think she's a little bit casual there, and as we'll see on the second occasion, it's just probably by the looks of it, Gomez first time finish, and we see that in the back of the net.
Or even just a better first touch, and it's a chance to shoot. One of the Wanderers' assistants has talked his way into the book. Again, that's all seconds off the clock. Cost of doing business. 5.5 of the 7 minutes gone. There'll probably be a little bit more due to the Bethany Gordon injury as well. She's back out there now, so Wanderers back to 11 players. Here's Gomez. A bending pass. Bloomer's out of her line. Bats it away. Ralston was arriving, but Bloomer got there in the nick of time. Now a long ball over the top. Vandermeer and Caspers chasing it out into open field. And the back pass finds its way to Edwards. Being told Peter Kafanis, the assistant coach, got the card. That'll be borderline irrelevant if Wanderers can close out this last minute or so and take the 3 points. And that bending pass from Matos will catch the wind and run out for a goal kick. Barry. Now Vosper. Given away by Robertson. Matos just bombs away out for a goal kick again.
And you can hear the tactical instruction from the Wanderers bench to take it to the corner. These is the dying minutes of the game, and I think that's exactly where Western Sydney are going to feel most secure.
Edwards hits the goal kick straight out. That's been a real problem for them in these desperate final stages. Goal kicks, of all things, is where they've come undone, and Wanderers down to walking pace. Stoppage time has expired. It's all on the generosity of the referee from here. Vosper's header breaks central. Gomez, they've got to go end to end. Can they be good enough? The Wellington Phoenix. Gomez trying to get something started. Wisniewski turning out into the centre of the pitch. Gomez continued her run. Blocked by Caspers initially. And now Foster is forced wide. But she's got the left foot to make something happen here, Foster. A hit and hope right at the end of the game. Claire Hunt is there, presents the ball to Ralston. Now Millie Clegg, cutting inside. Clegg! Saved by Bloomer. They had one last chance, and Jordan Bloomer saves the 3 points for Western Sydney.
Jordan Bloom has been excellent, and Gren, just look at the footwork of Millie Clegg. She's able to change feet, and it's the right decision to shoot there.
Bloomer hits it high and long from the goal kick, and she is the hero of the moment, saving the day for Western Sydney. Their season and top 4 hopes stay alive. Sophie Harding scored the match winner in the first half, but it's the goalkeeper, Jordan Bloomer, that is the reason for the final scoreline of Western Sydney Wanderers 1, Wellington Phoenix 0. Leah Blaney, what a finish to the game as we look at some of the stats. Wellington, they had their chance.
They definitely did. A really exciting finish to this game, and I think this Wellington side, based off the last couple of chances they've scored in the remaining 10 to 15 minutes, are going to feel a little bit robbed today with the scoreline.
So those are the numbers at the end of a vital win. Wanderers beat Wellington for the first time in the A-League Women's as a result. On behalf of the production crew, my name's Teo Pellizzeri. Big thanks to Leah Blaney as well. And we'll see you next time on 10 Play and Paramount Plus. Don't forget, there's a game coming up 7 p.m. tonight, Eastern Time, Perth versus Newcastle. Stick around for that one.
Yeah, we look nice, future looking nice, we don't need to tell them
Here
twice.
comes the future.
Yeah, we look nice, future looking real nice, we don't need to tell them twice.
Here comes the future.
Wellington had a lot of shots. Yeah.